Hello students, welcome to the e-learning session of Social Science Standard 8. Students, earlier we have completed 4 chapters. I hope you all must have completed it in your workbook. Now today we are going to discuss the 5th chapter of Social Science. Now here first to begin with I am going to show you some images. See, this is the image of an earthquake, then tsunami, drought, volcano, cyclone and landslide. After seeing these images, do you get any idea that what must be the name of your chapter? Yes, these are the disasters. So the name of our today's chapter is Natural Disaster. Now before starting the chapter, let's understand the meaning of disaster. What does the word disaster means? So we can say that when any event takes place all of a sudden and which causes great damage to human life and property, then it is called a disaster. Now students, disasters are of 2 types. One is natural disaster and the other one is man-made disaster. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about natural disasters. So what is the definition of natural disasters? That when disasters are caused due to some natural factors, then they are called natural disasters. Now natural disasters are also of again 2 types. So which are they? So the first one is when the changes takes place in the interior part of the surface of the earth, the disasters occurs. That is earthquake, tsunami, volcano, all these disasters occur due to the changes which takes place in the interior part of the surface of the earth. Whereas certain disasters, they occur due to the changes which takes on the surface of the earth, like flood, forest fire, cyclone, etc. All these disasters occur when the changes takes place on the surface of the earth. Now here you can see the video of a building collapsing. So why this building is collapsing? Because of the earthquake. So first we will discuss the first disaster, earthquake. So what is the meaning of earthquake? That the weak upper crust of the earth suddenly experiences tremors, either due to the collision of plates or due to the tremendous pressure in the interior of the earth. So there are 2 reasons. That one is either the plates are colliding with each other or due to the pressure. Due to these things the earthquakes takes place. So we can say that when sudden shaking or trembling when we feel on the surface of the earth, then we can say that earthquake has taken place. Now students, we are going to discuss about hypocenter and epicenter. What are these 2 terms? These are the new terms for you, hypocenter and epicenter. Here you can see students, this part, focus, it is also known as hypocenter. So what is it? The tremors of an earthquake originates from its hypocenter. So the point from where the earthquake originates, that point is called focus or hypocenter, and it is located deep below the surface of the earth. Say you can see this line, it is in the interior part of the earth. Whereas the point on the surface of the earth, this point, this is the epicenter, the point which is exactly above the hypocenter on the surface of the earth is called epicenter. So what is the difference? That hypocenter is in the inner part, deep in the inner part of the earth's surface, whereas epicenter is on the surface. The waves of the earthquake spreads outward from the epicenter. See, these are the waves, red color lines which you can see, these are the seismic waves which spreads out from the epicenter. Now we will see the reasons for earthquake, that why do the earthquake occurs. So basically there are three reasons. First reason is due to the volcanic eruption. In the first chapter we have discussed that earlier we have discussed that volcanic eruption takes place when there is imbalance between the heat and pressure. That means when the balance is not maintained between heat and pressure, volcanic eruption takes place, and due to the volcanic eruption the tremors are felt on the surface of the earth and earthquake occurs. Second reason is strike slip faults. Now what is strike slip faults? So for example students, these are the two rocks I am having with me. When these rocks, they are in the interior part of the earth surface. So when they are moving, and while moving, when they collide with each other like this horizontally, this is the horizontal movement. When they collide horizontally with each other, at that time tremors are created, and that tremors causes the shaking or trembling on the surface of the earth, and it causes earthquake. Then the third reason is subduction in the subduction zone. Now what is subduction in the subduction zone? That means when there are 7 plates. As per the 7 continents, there are 7 plates. So if we say that these are the plates, then when one plate comes under another plate, see here you can see that these two plates are floating, and if one plate comes under another plate, this zone where these two plates are colliding, this is called subduction zone, and when they collide with each other, the earthquake takes place. So that is called subduction in the subduction zone. Now here you can see the instrument, its name is seismograph. What is the use of seismograph? So we can measure the intensity of the earthquake and know its point of origin, that is the hypocenter, with the help of the instrument known as seismograph. So seismograph is used to record the intensity of the earthquake, and the scale on which the earthquake is measured is called Richter scale. It is having points from 0 to 9. Now here you can see children, this is the epicenter. So here you can see the difference between the seismic waves is less, the distance is less, but as you move away from the epicenter, the distance between the seismic waves increases. What does it mean? That near the epicenter there is more destruction, because more maximum intensity is felt near the epicenter, and as you move away from the epicenter, the intensity of the earthquake decreases. So we can say that more life and property is damaged near the epicenter, and as you move away from the epicenter, the damages are less. Now here you can see the image of a volcano. Now what is volcano? So an opening in the earth's crust from which lava, rock fragments, ashes, dust and gases are ejected from below the surface of the earth, then it is called a volcano. So volcano, what are the reasons for the occurrence of the volcano? So as we have discussed earlier also, that when there is high temperature in the interior of the earth, at that time volcanic eruption takes place. When magma is created in more proportion, then the magma wants to comes out from the earth's crust, at that time also volcano erupts. Creation of gases and vapor. During the rainy season, the water seeps inside the rocks, where on the rocks or on the surface of the earth cracks are there. Through that cracks, the water percolates inside the earth's crust, and then it gets heated and converts into vapor, and it requires the space to come out. At that time also volcanic eruption takes place. And the fourth reason is rising of magma towards Earth's surface. When the magma, it is flowing smoothly in the inner part, it's okay, but when it tries to comes out of the weak upper crust, then the volcanic eruption takes place. Now let's see the types of volcanoes. Basically there are three types of volcanoes. Here you can see the lava is flowing out. So this type of volcano is known as active volcano. In India we are having only one active volcano at Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Then the second volcano is dormant volcano. Now what is the meaning of dormant volcano? That once the volcano is already erupted, but there are very less chances of its eruption again. It might erupt, we cannot predict anything about it. It might erupt, it might not erupt. So such type of volcanoes are called dormant volcanoes. And the third one is extinct volcano. Extinct volcano means what? That the volcano has not erupted since last 10,000 years. So then it becomes a extinct volcano. Now let's see the benefits of volcano. That what are the benefits of volcano? The first benefit we can say that due to the volcanic eruption the lava comes out and that increases the fertility of the land. So the farmers will get a huge amount of crop as the soil becomes potassium rich. So the farmers can grow more crops. Then the second one is the hot water springs in the areas of the volcanoes have germ killing property and it cures skin diseases. So in the volcanic areas there are generally hot water springs, and if you use that water then your skin diseases can be cured. Then we can also get minerals like mercury, tungsten, tin plating, zinc, aluminum, etc. easily in the volcanic areas. Then with the passage of time, the lava which cools down into the vent of the volcano gets converted into diamonds, which are very costly. And a kind of rock fragments comes out from the volcanic eruption, that is very soft kind of clay, and it is called lapilli, which is very useful in the construction work because it can be molded very easily. So these are the benefits of volcano. Now here you can see the sea waves, that is our next disaster, tsunami. So the word tsunami is derived from a Japanese word which is divided into two parts. Su means port and nami means waves. Here you have to be careful while pronouncing. It's not a T tsunami, it's tsunami. T remains silent. So what is the exact meaning of tsunami? That when the earthquake or the volcanic eruption takes place on the sea floor, that means in the inner part of the sea, at that time the tsunami occurs. So due to volcanic eruption or earthquake on the sea floor, high oceanic waves are created and they are known as tsunami. And the length of these oceanic waves is 700 to 1600 kilometers. These tsunami waves are also known as destructive waves. Why it is called destructive waves? Because they create a great destruction on the coastal regions. So they are also known as destructive waves. Now the next disaster is flood. Now how does a flood occurs? So when the flow of water is excess in the rivers, then the flood occurs. So what are the reasons of flood? Then again there are two reasons for flood. First reason is heavy rain. When there is excessive rainfall, heavy rainfall is there, at that time the river water overflows and it causes flood. And the second reason is if any dam breaks on the river. On the river the dams are constructed. Now due to heavy rainfall, if the water holding capacity of the dam is not proper and the dam breaks, at that time from the high level area the water will come to the low level area and it will cause great destruction on the low lying areas of the river bank. So this is how the flood also causes destruction of life and property to the people who are living near the river banks. Now this is the next disaster, that is famine. So what is famine? So scanty rainfall leads to famine. Scanty rainfall means what? Either there is no rainfall or very less rainfall. It leads towards the drying up of the groundwater and shortage of food and water. So during the famine there is shortage of food and water both, and this condition is known as famine. So the condition of famine occurs in the cases of scanty rainfall when there is no rainfall for continuously 2 to 3 years. At that time famine takes place. So how can we avoid famine? So in that case the solution is that we should plant more and more trees so that the trees can attract the rain, or else we can go for water harvesting method so that we can save water and use it at the time of drought or famine. Now here you can see this is a cyclone. So what is cyclone? So we can say that when the air blows at a very high speed, then it is called a cyclone. The other two names of cyclone are storm or whirlwind. Generally the coastal areas, they experience the cyclone every year. Recently in India also so many cyclones took place like Amphan, Nisarg, Hika, Vayu, Fani, etc. You might be watching in the on the television that all these cyclones took place recently in India. Now how these cyclones are named? So there is a department called a Regional Specialized Meteorological Center. This department known as RSMC gives the names to the cyclone. All over the world there are 6 RSMCs. Out of that one is in India and its name is India Meteorological Department. Now next is forest fire. Now how does a forest fire takes place? So there are various reasons for the forest fire. Many times what happens that in the deep forest where the forests are very dense, at that places the dry branches of the trees, they rub with each other and friction is created between them, and because of that the forest fire takes place. Or here it is given that due to some other factors also forest fire takes place. So what are the other factors? So we can say that when lightning occurs and if the lightning falls, due thunder and storm is there, lightning is there, at that time also forest fire takes place. Or the forest fire can take place due to some human error also. If the people go for camping, they do the campfire in the forest and then the people, they do not turn off the fire and they leave it as it is. So due to wind the fire will expand and it will cause the forest fire. This forest fire creates great damage to the forest resources as well as to the animals which are residing in the forest. And the next one is landslide. Now what is landslide? See, you can see landslide means what? The sliding of the large mass of the rock, material, soil, etc. down the side of a mountain or a cliff is termed as landslide. So generally landslides occurs in the mountainous areas where there is two reasons are there. One is due to the excessive rainfall. On the mountainous area when there is excessive rainfall, at that time landslide occurs, or it occurs due to the earthquake. Generally Konkan railway, its journey, the transportation is always obstructed every year because of the landslides. Similarly you might be watching in the news that the people who are going to Amarnath Yatra, they got stuck up because of the landslide. So generally the landslides occurs in the mountainous areas. Now we will see the recapitulation of the chapter. In this chapter we have discussed about all these disasters. The first disaster which we discussed was about earthquake. So what is the meaning of earthquake? That sudden shaking or trembling on the surface of the earth is known as earthquake. Then volcano, an opening in the crust from which lava, rock fragments, ashes, dust and gases are ejected from below the earth surface is called volcano. Then third one is tsunami. Due to the volcanic eruption or earthquake on the sea floor, high oceanic waves are created. They are known as tsunami. Then flood, the flow of excess water in the river is called flood. Then famine, scanty rainfall leads to the drying up of the groundwater and shortage of food and water. This condition is called famine. Then cyclone, when the air blows at a great speed, it is called a storm or a whirlwind or cyclone. Then forest fire, when friction takes place between the dry branches of the trees and due to other human causes, the forest fire takes place. And last one was landslide, that sliding of the large mass of rock material, soil, etc. down the sides of a mountain or a cliff is termed as a landslide. So,
a disaster is a sudden event that causes a lot of damage. These events are not man-made because they are caused by the forces of nature that often adversely affect the human life and environment. But do you know why these natural disasters take place? Yes, they are caused by extreme conditions of weather or changes that take place inside the earth. Disasters can occur in the form of cyclone and flood, etc. In some parts of India, we have very heavy rainfall during monsoon. Due to this, the water in the rivers overflows onto the nearby lands, causing floods. In coastal areas, this heavy rainfall is accompanied by very strong winds. This is called a cyclone. Cyclones usually occur in coastal areas due to the drift in the temperature of the coastal regions. In India, states like Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar and Assam are prone to cyclones and floods. India has faced one of the strongest cyclones ever recorded in the North Indian Ocean in the year 1999. It was named as Paradip cyclone that had hit the Odisha port. It caused the massive destruction and loss of lives. The after effects of cyclones and floods are really bad. Destruction of land, houses, and crops affect many people and they become homeless. Shortage of drinking water and food affects all living beings. Also, in this type of unhygienic conditions, germs spread and there is an outbreak of diseases such as jaundice, malaria and cholera. Such effects of natural disasters cause the unfortunate condition of famine. It means a massive starvation due to severe shortage of food. Along with this, the crop failure or overpopulation in an area also led to famine. Famines in India resulted in more than 60 million deaths over the course of the 18th, 19th and early 20th centuries. Although controlling these natural occurring conditions are beyond the control of humans, but still some preventive measures can be taken to avoid such calamities. The best way to eliminate excessive floods is to keep the trees intact in the soil. Regular checking and maintaining of dams will also alleviate floods. Some precautions which can be taken after flood or cyclone affected areas are to keep the first aid kit ready with you. Turn off the main electrical switches of your houses. Drink only boiled water if possible. And also, take help of government and NGOs. Respect for nature believes that we have a duty to protect not just individual and animals, but also to look around at the way we keep our environment healthy and green. Now let's sum it up all in one go. Calamities that occur due to natural forces are called natural disasters. Cyclones, floods are some natural disasters. After effects of natural disasters cause the unfortunate condition of famine, which means the shortage of food. natural disasters cause serious damage to the environment, life and property. Each one of us should grow more and more trees, especially along the river banks, to avoid floods. Turning off electrical supply, drinking boiled water, using first aid kits are some cues which can be taken during flood. Government and NGO provide help during a natural calamity.
Students, I hope you all must have understood the chapter properly. You read the textbook also once again. Thank you and have a nice day.